What's up? What's up? It's Danny, Rainmaker, Dominguez, the Houston Realtor, with another video in my series. This one is called How to Build Wealth by Purchasing a Home. So if you ever wondered how can you build wealth, buying a home is crucial and it is a foundational step in building your wealth, your legacy, and being able to pass on something to your future generations. Have you ever wondered how you can leave your mark on this earth after you are no longer here? Well, one of those ways is by passing on an asset. When it comes to a home, it is one of the most accessible and simplest ways to build wealth and be able to pass on something to your future, maybe kids, grandkids, or generations. So let's start. Number one, equity. So equity, as defined by Aman.com, is equity is the market value of real property, less the amount of any liens that may exist. It can also be explained as the financial interest that a homeowner has in a property. So, a more in depth explanation of that, just to reiterate that, is let's say that you have um, a home that's $200,000. That's the purchase price of the home. Let's say you are uh, looking to buy this home and you take out a loan to buy the home. Well, whenever you go to take out a loan, let's assume that they're going to charge you, uh, that you have to put down a 10% down payment on the home. Well, if you put down the 10% down payment of the home, then your equity is 10% of the purchase price. Therefore, what's left or what you took out a loan of, which was 190,000, then you owe 190 and you are an equity in an equity position of 10%. So that's a very simple way to put it, just to explain that. Um, and it's very pivotal that we understand what equity is. That is a very foundational um, part of wealth. Number two, depreciation. So depreciation sometimes is misinterpreted as the value of the property going down. That's not the case. Depreciation is a tax term. It basically describes the ability to write off any value of the asset itself every year. This is significant when it comes to reducing taxes. Now, there is a caveat. This cannot be used for primary home or primary residences. This is more used for investment properties. So that is even more of a reason to purchase real estate in general. But we are specifically talking about a home here, not a second residence. But depreciation is a big thing when it comes to building wealth. Everyone knows that, at least the wealthy people know that one way to build and maintain your wealth is to decrease the amount of taxes you have to pay. Real estate is a great tax haven. So, real estate. Now, the formula that goes into it, just for your knowledge, is every year you're able to write off one out of 27.5 of the property's value against the income you generated. So, in other words, you would, let's say that you bought a house for $200,000, right? You're you would divide that number by 27.5, which would give you about $7,000 that you can write off. This amount will be basically given back to you whenever you file your taxes, and you can do that every year for 27.5 years. So it's a great way to avoid having to pay taxes. In fact, many times people do this to write off any expenses that they have with rental properties or real estate in general. So it's a great strategy. I can talk more in depth about depreciation in another video. So let's continue moving forward. Number three, inflation. So inflation, as we know, is a big thing, especially in this current environment. So what is inflation? Inflation is uh, the increase of the money supply, right? Which basically decreases the buying power of the dollar. In other words, the dollar is worth less and less each passing year because the increase of the money supply goes up. So as everyone knows simple economics. If there's more supply than there is demand, then the price has to go lower. If there is more demand than there is supply, then the price goes up. So wealth in real estate lies uh, in the fact that the majority of your expenses, such as mortgages, property taxes, usually stay fixed for the majority of the time that you own the property. And when you combine that with the rising rents and home values due to inflation, then you are able to uh, make money off of the arbitrage or make money off the difference. And that is where wealth is built. So that's very, very important. As we all know, it is reasonable to expect that inflation is going to continue, especially now that the Fed has printed out trillions of dollars and injected it into the economy. So there's no reason why you should not be investing in an asset right now to put your money in, your cash in, because it will only benefit you and your family and your future generations. So please heed to that advice because as we all know, we are living in a very, very strange time. And with this uh, current with these current crises, I guess you can say, I don't know if that's the plural form of crisis, it is super important now to safeguard your family, safeguard yourself, and just make sure that you are good in the future. Make sure that you are able to put food on the table for your family. In case of an emergency, real estate is one of those havens. So moving on, number four, appreciation, right? Everyone knows appreciation, right? What is appreciation? Basically, over the long run, real estate values uh, always go up. And that is always, always. You can look at it, it fluctuates, it may go up, down, it may go down for a while. But in the long run, you can go back 50 years and you can see a steady incline in prices or home values. Even during crashes where it does go down, it always shoots back up to a higher uh, top than it was before the crash. So that is fact. You can look that up yourself and see that for yourself. So, for example, let's put an example. Let's say you buy a home that is worth $200,000, right? Now it appreciates $220,000. Now let's say that you usually you don't when you buy a home you don't buy all cash. You usually take out a loan to finance the home. But most of the time they require you to put down a down payment. Most of the time it may range depending on the type of buyer you are. If you are a first-time home buyer, it may range between 3.5% and 5%. If you are, let's say, a more mature buyer, then you may be paying between 10 and 20%. Let's say uh, for this example, let's say 20% is what you put down. If you were to put down 20%, that would mean that you uh, put $20,000 into the home. right? If you were to put $40,000 into the home, if you were to put $40,000 into the home and your home appreciated $240,000, well, you just increased, you just made 100% of your money. Let me repeat that. If your home goes up in value from $200 to $240,000 and you put in $40,000, 20% of the property, the price of the property, which is $200,000, that means that your investment was $40,000. If the value of the property goes up $40,000, you just made your money back. You just made 100% investment. If you look at the prices over time, that is not in the realm of impossibility at all. That is very, very realistic. And you just look at, in fact, I entice you to look at the price of the home that you live in now back when you first bought it, and then look at the prices that are selling in your area now, and see for yourself if the if the home appreciated. Now, of course, that is an estimate. You don't really know for a fact unless you speak to a realtor and you get an appraisal on the property. So, highly, highly encourage you to do that, and you'll see for yourself that the price is not the same, even if it's slightly higher than and not a huge difference from when you bought it, but it is higher. You will find that out if you were to look at that. And number five, leverage. Leverage. I put this one last here. Why? Because leverage is could it's a double-edged sword. Okay, so it can help, but it can also destroy. And leverage is to be used very carefully. Many people tend to over leverage, which means you borrow too much money against the property. The reason why people do that and are able to do that is because real estate is the, again, I think you can say probably, if not the best, one of the best uh, assets to leverage against, and one of the easiest assets to leverage against. Why is that? That is because real estate is considered a hard asset, unlike stocks, which are considered financial assets, two totally different things. So let me put it in terms uh, like this. Let's say, or for example, if you were to borrow money from a bank, right, and you were to get a tenant to move into that house, then the tenant technically is paying off your mortgage. So, in other words, you borrowed money from a bank, bought an asset, then had someone else pay off the asset while you made money in between from the cash flow and the mortgage, or the rent and the mortgage. Not only that, but you also make money on the appreciation. Not only that, but you also make money on the depreciation. Not only that, but you also have equity, and obviously you're leveraged, so you don't even have to put all your money. You don't even have to have $200,000 to buy the property. You just have to have a percentage. So, I mean, if you want to build wealth, oh, and let me also include this. What other loan or what other asset can you borrow a can you get a loan against and not have to pay it for 30 years? I don't know any other loan product or any other product out there where you can get a loan, borrow against that asset, and not have to pay back that loan, or at least stretch the payments out for 30 years. Okay? I mean, real estate is amazing, to say the least. So many people understand that real estate can create wealth, but not everyone understands why. I hope that you're able to see now why real estate and buying a home can build wealth for you, build a legacy for you, give you and your family security in the future, um, and help you achieve your goals and achieve your happiness and your desires. There are many ways to build wealth, and real estate is just one of my personal favorites. And statistically and factually, probably the safest, the most steadiest, and the most simplest way to build wealth. Okay. Um, and I have a story that I would share with you guys. I may put it in the video, and this is already, we are at 16 minutes, so I'll probably add it to another video, follow it up to this video, and that story will show you a real world example as to how wealth is really built, how you can pass on, um, you know, uh, wealth from generation to generation, and how that is actually what builds families up and gets people to be in more powerful positions throughout time. So I'll leave you with that. Subscribe to this video if you like it. If you don't like it, subscribe as well. Comment if you think that this was helpful to you. Comment if you don't think it was helpful to you. Just comment. Like this video. Share it with everyone. And I'll be coming out with more and more videos. So thank you. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.